Disclaimer: the alleged mockery and controversial events surrounding are based on reported statements and interpretations, but it is important to note that these accounts remain subject to varying opinions and may not reflect the full truth of the circumstances. Whether these moments were intentional or merely the result of misunderstandings or external pressures is unclear. We cannot definitively know the intentions behind their actions, and it's crucial to consider that public figures, like everyone else, can be misinterpreted or misunderstood. As such, the details presented should be viewed in the context of their complex lives, and we acknowledge that the true motivations behind certain events remain speculative. What happened to people who mocked God? Over time, many famous people became so full of themselves that they thought they were unstoppable. Some of them even made fun of God, believing they were bigger or more powerful than faith. But their stories didn't end well. Many faced sudden tragedies, mysterious deaths, or unexpected misfortunes that shocked the world. Here are the stories of well-known personalities who mocked God in their words or actions. These events remind us to stay humble, respect beliefs, and remember that no one is greater than a higher power. Part 1. John Lennon, singer of the Beatles. John Lennon once famously said, "Christianity will go, it will vanish and shrink. I don't need to argue about that. We're more popular than Jesus now." In 1980, Lennon was tragically assassinated outside his New York apartment by Mark David Chapman, an obsessed fan. The murder of John Lennon in 1980. Mark David Chapman shot and killed John Lennon outside Lennon's apartment in New York City on December 8, 1980. Chapman was obsessed with J.D. Salinger's novel, The Catcher in the Rye, and he carried a copy of the book with him at the time of the murder. After shooting Lennon, Chapman calmly sat down on the sidewalk and started reading the book while waiting for the police to arrive. Chapman later claimed that the novel's main character, Holden Caulfield, resonated with him deeply. Holden despises phoniness in people and struggles with the idea of growing up in a world full of pretenses. Chapman believed that John Lennon had become a phony, particularly because Lennon preached messages of peace and love while living a wealthy, privileged lifestyle. Chapman was particularly enraged by Lennon's comment in 1966 that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. He viewed it as blasphemy, and over time his resentment toward Lennon grew. Chapman's motivation. Chapman stated that his decision to kill Lennon was influenced by his own disillusionment with life and his obsession with The Catcher in the Rye. In his mind, he believed he was carrying out Holden Caulfield's mission of protecting the world from phoniness. After the murder, he reportedly told the police, "I'm sure the big part of me is Holden Caulfield, the main person in The Catcher in the Rye." Chapman's crime is a stark example of how misinterpreting literature can lead to dangerous actions. Despite the novel being about adolescent rebellion and alienation, Chapman twisted its themes to justify violence. Marilyn Monroe. During a conversation with evangelist Billy Graham, he told Monroe that God had sent him to preach to her. She reportedly replied, "I don't need your Jesus." Monroe was found dead in her home on August 5, 1962, from a drug overdose. Her death was ruled a probable suicide, though there are still conspiracy theories surrounding the cause. Marilyn Monroe, the iconic American actress, is remembered not only for her stunning beauty and iconic roles, but also for her complicated personal life and struggles. One notable incident occurred when Monroe engaged in a conversation with evangelist Billy Graham, who had traveled to Los Angeles with the intention of preaching to her. During their meeting, Billy Graham reportedly told Monroe that God had sent him to save her soul. Monroe, known for her wit and sharp tongue, allegedly responded with the defiant words, "I don't need your Jesus." This exchange has since been cited as an example of Monroe's disregard for religious teachings, reflecting her broader personal philosophy and complex relationship with faith. Monroe's response to Graham's spiritual message highlights her inner turmoil and possible skepticism toward religion. Despite her fame and the public's perception of her as a symbol of desire and glamour, some sources suggest that she had expressed disillusionment with the superficial nature of Hollywood life and possibly felt lost in a world where true connection and genuine support were hard to come by. Monroe's death on August 5, 1962, at the age of 36, remains one of the most controversial and discussed events in Hollywood history. She was found unresponsive in her Los Angeles home from what was later determined to be a drug overdose. Though the official ruling was that her death was a probable suicide, Many conspiracy theories have emerged over the years, speculating on a range of alternative explanations, including foul play, government involvement, and even a botched murder cover-up. Some believe that Monroe's untimely passing was linked to her alleged relationships with powerful figures in politics and the entertainment industry, adding layers of mystery to her already tumultuous life. Despite the ruling of suicide, Monroe's death left a deep, unresolved void in the public's consciousness, perpetuating her status as a tragic figure whose life and death remain subjects of fascination, speculation, and myth. The loss of such a prominent figure in American culture has fueled ongoing debates about the pressures of fame, mental health, and the personal costs of being in the public eye. The stories of John Lennon and Marilyn Monroe, though different, both reveal the hidden struggles behind fame. Lennon's vision of peace was cut short by violence, while Monroe's beauty and talent couldn't shield her from personal pain. Their lives remind us that fame can bring both admiration and isolation, and that behind every public figure may lie private battles. Their legacies teach us that true happiness and peace come from within, not from the spotlight. Their tragic ends serve as a powerful reminder to value mental health and the importance of genuine connection. See you on part 2.